Welcome, everybody.
Hey, man, I just heard we had our first baby born here at the Blake Festival, man. This is groovy. I didn't know I was supposed to do any comedy, actually. I actually wrote a diatribe, which I was going to read out, which has humorous elements in it. Am I loud enough? Okay. Not only is it an honor to be here in front of Blake, but also to follow Bruce Dickinson. We used to draw Eddie in my white trash town in Missouri when we were kids, so it's an honor to finally be performing with you. I'm going to open up with some bits. I do sketch comedy, and these are bits that probably wouldn't work anywhere else. This is the idea of Blake having a modern-day agent. Hey, Bill. Yeah, listen, I love the prophecy. I can't get you any money in this lifetime, but I tell you what, if you wait till 1927, we'll get you a marker somewhere near where you're buried. It's called posthumous fame. You're going to love it, kid. It's great. The other idea is a bit more, it has to do with the Zoas, and it was about football hooligans fighting over what Zoa they were. They called me fucking O's, and you fucking cunt. I'm fucking Luva. Thank you very much. Nations are destroyed or flourish in proportion as their poetry, painting, and music are destroyed or flourish. This axiom that William Blake sets forth in his To the Public section from his Prophecy Jerusalem is no knee-jerk admonition. For many academics and aesthetes who have profited from a myopic understanding of Blake, a regrettable truth for them is that the poet, in his own radical way, was a patriot. His artistic and literary devotion to the primeval figure of Albion, as well as his calls for England to awake from a suicidal slumber, bear testament to this. If we take the current artistic consensus that the way forward is an amorphous, globalized chorus of kumbaya, and juxtapose that against Blake's own position that real progress comes from daring to look backwards, then nationhood is an initial reverse step to the original state idealized by the prophet, in which man would have no other ruler but himself, because nations, like individuals, are sublimely unique. And indeed, there is something unique about England. This may not seem self-evident to those who are born and raised here, but to a small-town Midwestern hayseed like myself, tuned into the Beatles at the age of 6, marveling at Monty Python by the age of 11, and in my early teens ensconced in the works of William Blake, this has long been a land of geniuses, innovators, and revolutionaries. If this assessment sounds overly romantic, I stand guilty as charged. In fact, in my more megalomaniacal moments, I hope after my own death to receive a blue plaque to be hung outside any one of my ex-girlfriend's flats, bearing the legend, "Here lived a stubborn Yankee who strove to make England love itself again. For as the scripture saith, it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a modern Englishman to admit he loves his own country." In 2017, blacklisted from the stand-up comedy scene for my outspokenness against the conformity and blandness it had come to embody, I found myself with a considerable amount of free time. So when my friend Scott Ambrose acquired a camera with an idea towards making a film, I suggested a documentary on William Blake. The concluding sequence to that film, Red, White, and Blake, begins with a rapid-fire succession of vox pops, ordinary British citizens responding to the question, who is your English hero? The answers, sadly, were not easy to obtain. Many people recoiled from the word hero. What have I used for a hero? Everyone is equal on Facebook. Others bristled even more at the concept of an English hero, assuming any delineation of John Lennon as Liverpudlian, Michael Palin as Yorkshireman, or even William Blake as a Londoner belied some sort of covert xenophobia. In such a consciously censorious worldview, manacled by the deceitfully well-sounding notions of political correctness and cultural relevance, things are made simple for the simple. As long as one can contort him or herself to fit within those academically religious parameters, literally anyone can now lay claim to being an artist. As a result, art is now too often considered good by default. We hear broad, non-specific enthusiasm for the arts, as if everybody laying claim to artistry intends to create works of merit. And in doing so, we overlook the detrimental effects produced upon cultures or indeed nations by the proliferation of bad art, the very negation that needs destroying to redeem the contrary. Without contraries, after all, is no progression. And we are here today to celebrate a contrary, not a negation. We are here to honor the achievements of one grand man, not a faceless community. We salute the fiery rebel who burned bridges in his own milieu, singling out Joshua Reynolds as status-seeking charlatans steeped in the immorality of blandness and commercialism. But most importantly, we say a prayer in remembrance of a prophet who transcended time, glancing backwards to receive visions of futurity. And as we turn our own eyes to the schools and universities of Europe, let it be our turn to recoil from those faux intellectuals and artistic posers who labor satanically to wage war on the very past itself. Poetry beyond their capacity to write, paintings beyond their means to envision, and music beyond their ability to play, they would instead seek to destroy. In fact, who's to say that one day this very monument may not come under threat from their nihilistic hammers? Or perhaps their reductive and erroneous conception of William Blake as a nationless atheist may stay their resentful hand. They will be stopped. How this is as yet we know not, and we cannot know, till Albion is arisen. Thank you, good night.